You've done your research and want to get up and running with Obsidian as quickly as possible. In this video, we will go through installation, setup, linking your thinking example, and some key features. So let's first talk about how our nodes and structures look like in the past. In the past, we have a bunch of different nodes. We try to organize them within different folders. You can think of a lot of subfolders within folders, and over time you lost those connections. If you went to university and you tried the structure, most likely outcome would be for you after a couple of years to delete that folder because it became too messy, became cluttered, did not enjoy thinking or looking at it. And you just decided to start from nothing, start from scratch. But now with Obsidian and other tools, we can have something similar to this. We have a folder, and in this folder we can organize the nodes through different methods of linking. One of these methods that I want to talk about in the video later today is the concept of a map of content. But first, let's install Obsidian. What you want to do is you want to navigate to Obsidian download. So just go to Google, type in Obsidian download, go to obsidian.md, and then you're going to choose whether you want Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. So for me, I'll choose 64-bit installer. Just click on it and this would install the Obsidian, run through the setup, just click yes, 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 yes. And once it's done, you can open up Obsidian. So when you open up Obsidian for the first time, it should look something similar to this. Here, you can specify create a new vault, or open folders vault, or open vault from Obsidian Sync. So if you already have a folder, meaning in your folder structure, which I'll quickly show you here. Let's say if I go to my Google Drive where I saved my things, let's say I want to save my vault in the Obsidian demo vault. I can either right click and create a new folder here, or I can do it directly from Obsidian. I can click create. I'll say, what is my vault's name? Let's say demo vault YouTube. It's going to ask you where you want to save this. So again, this is not on the cloud. This is on your personalized folder structure. So for me, I save it in Google Drive, which automatically means that it's saved onto the cloud. So click browse, let's go to Google Drive, you can use Dropbox, whatever you want to use, and let's save it here. Okay, so we have our vault name, we have our location, we can click create. And this is what it should look like. It can either be dark or it could be light themed, but I'm fine to stay with the dark theme for now. So let's quickly run through a couple of the main functionalities you should know. On the left hand side, you can collapse or expand. You have all your files. So this little file folder, that is essentially the folder that you just created on your Google Drive or Dropbox or on your computer. Whatever's in there, it's going to show up here. You have some search functionality. Ignore the stuff for now. At the top, you can add new tabs. On the right hand side, you can open a pane, but that's something we'll go through in a later video. And then we have settings. You can open up another vault. Oh, for now, we are fine. Let's just start creating something. So no file is open. Let's create a new file. So immediately you see this untitled note that popped up here. The default setting is this top little heading field is representative of your node name. If you change this, actual node name will change. We'll show that in the folder structure within your Google Drive or Dropbox after we change this name. So let's just call this my first note. You can see it's changed here. If we go to our folder structure into our demo vault, we can see that it created a text file. If we open up this text file, you'll see this blank because we haven't filled in anything. We just have the name. That's the only thing we specified. So now, if we just type something, some text here, just that little error, and we go back to our text file, actually close it down and reopen it. You can see some text here. So that is what Obsidian is. It's a tool that reads just normal, simple notes and interprets it in a specific way. So in your Obsidian, let's talk through some heading functionality and folding functionality. So hashtag and a space represents this is heading 1. So now I can have this is the purpose of my note. Yeah. So we have heading 1. Let's say we want a subheading. Okay. This is heading 2. Let's say we want a subheading to heading 2, heading 3. So how this works is you can fold. If you have a high level heading, it will fold all the headings underneath it and all the text. So some text here, some more text. So we can fold everything underneath heading 3. We can fold everything under heading 2. We can fold everything under heading 1. Interesting thing is if we go for another heading 2, we need 2 hashtags. And then we have some text. You can see if we fold heading 2, it only folds to the next heading 2. That's just how the folder structuring and collapsing works. Okay, so now that we have that, can delete it, and we went through heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. Let's just talk about some bold and italic syntax. So let's say I want this more to be bold. So you can either just double click it to select the entire word, hold in Shift and click star 2 times. You'll see it'll automatically add 2 stars in front and behind the text. So you might not be able to see, but this is bold. You can change the settings later. You can either do that, or you can say some, and you can tap 2 stars, more, end it with 2 stars, text. And you see it automatically updates it. If we want italics, you can do something similar. So some italic text here. You can double click italics, and that's just 1 star. So if you highlight the word, click Shift and star, you'll see it changes it into italics. If we want to do it while we're typing, you can do 1 star, it automatically adds 2 more stars. Within it, you say italic, you can click star again, text, yeah. So in our vault, we only have 1 note. So let's create another. So you can go to the top and say, create a new tab. So create new file. This is my second note. I would like to insert the different heading styles and folding capabilities. Yeah. This is a link to note 1. So let's say in this note we want to link to my first note. You click or tab, choose square brackets, and it will automatically close those square brackets. And you can see this little menu that pops up. You can either refer to my first note, or you can refer to this note that you're currently in. So that doesn't make sense. But we want to have a link to my first note. Now what we can do, if we click on it, in this tab, it goes to the first note. You can think of this tab structure as a Google tab. If you navigate away from it, the other information is still there. You haven't deleted it. It's just on a different page. So if we just click back, we're going to go back to this is my second note. Let's say we want to display the first note within this note. This is some functionality that Obsidian has. It makes it quite powerful. This is an embed to note 1. What you can do is just exclamation mark, 2 square open brackets, and then say my first note. And there we can see it automatically brings in the information from our first note. So let's say we want to add a heading 4 to see if it will update or not. We can go back to our first note. We can say do for hashtags heading 4. So if we go back to our second note, we can see that it automatically adds it here because this is just a snapshot to our first note. So up until now, we have just been working on the edit mode, but there's a reading mode. Let's say you want to walk through something that you have typed out and you just want people to view it. It's almost like a PowerPoint presentation where you are in edit mode and then you finally want to showcase your PowerPoint without the edit information all around your visualizations or slides. So that functionality sits here at the top. So current view, editing, and then it says click to read or to go to read view. So if you click, you can see that we can't change. We can still highlight, but you can't add or delete information now. You can still navigate around, but you can't add or delete. So this is pretty powerful. This is majority of what you need to know in order to start linking notes and having ideas and capture information better. There's obviously a lot to it. I believe Obsidian has quite a steep learning curve, and it's not the normal learning curve which is up and cool. You made success, you know Obsidian now. It's an ongoing learning process. So what I want to talk about next is just this folder structure again. So now what we have is just a folder with notes in it. If we go to the folder, our demo vault, you can see Obsidian has created some backend folder that you don't need to worry about. It's .obsidian, but this is just the code that Obsidian uses to interpret these text files. So up until now, our folder, meaning our demo vault YouTube, as my first note, this is my second note. They have some links between each other, but there's no real organization yet. If we have 1,000 of these nodes, it's going to be chaos. We don't want that. We want to move towards a folder structure that looks like this. So we're going to go through an example. So grouping notes that's similar, that it structures your thinking in a way that makes sense and easy to come back to. So to use this visual as the example is you have a MOC or a map of content. That is basically a note that is your home page for that subject. So let's say we have a book map of content. You have one page that you create that all your book information will be on. So if you want to go to anything book related, you can go to this page and you can find links to every page. So in this example, all these links are referring to a specific book that I read, and I made a summary or I made some insights about it. So building a second brain, that's one note that I have linked on my main page. I have the 4-Hour Chef and Tale of Two Cities. But all of this information, which you typically would have to structure in a folder, gets quite messy, and the problem with this is you can't link to other areas. Let's say you have a cooking MOC and you get some ideas from this 4-Hour Chef. You can't, in a folder structure, link back without having to copy and paste it in the cookings folder. But here you can link it to 2 different sources. So for instance, you can have something that links to that as well. So now this 4-Hour Chef gets mentioned in our book and in our copy. That is how the linking neural network gets displayed on paper. So let's take the cooking example. We have recipes, that we want to get back to. We have our MOC, we have the links. So that is what we're going to build on now. Let's go back to Obsidian. Let's just delete our 2 nodes. You can keep it, or you can just create a new one. For me, I'm just going to delete it. Delete file, delete. Now we have 2 tabs, so you can go to either one, and let's just create a new file. Let's call this one our cooking map. So one thing to note is with the links that you can link to other nodes, you can start creating the names of those links before you even created them. So what I mean is we have a blank canvas within this vault now. We have a couple of recipes in mind. So let's just start typing them out. Let's go for recipe 1. You can see it's a little bit darker shaded. That just means it's not created yet. You can go to recipe 2. You can go to recipe 3. Let's say we want some more organization. We can say vegetarian meals. Make that a heading 2, for instance. And let's say this is Italian meals. So now we already have some structuring and some organizing happening. You can think every time when you have a new recipe that you tried out, that you have pictures and that you want to write down the recipe, that you won't ever forget it again, you can just fill it in, create new headings, add new recipes. But you still need to create the recipes. So in order to do that, you can either go to a new tab, create a new file, and you can enter exactly the same name that you specified in the previous page, so recipe 1. And this is my recipe 1. So we're going to go back to the previous tab. And you can see that that recipe 1 is not shaded out. It looks active. And if I click on it, true enough, this is my recipe 1. Let's go back. Second way that you can do it is just click on this uncreated node. And just I want you to pay attention to the left-hand side. This is all our nodes in our vault currently. We have a cookie map, we have a recipe 1. There is no recipe tree yet, it's not created. But when you click on this, it's going to create it. Cool, recipe 2. This is my recipe 2. You can go back and you can see, cool, they are created. So from this simple example, you can see how powerful this tool actually is. You can structure your thoughts. You can do this for meetings, you can do this for books, you can do this for your daily notes, for your journaling. That's all videos we'll get in the future, but I just want to get you up and running and understanding the concepts of linking and how powerful it is, and want to capture ideas to make sure it does not get lost throughout the years. And it's always something that enriches your life when you come back to. So let's say for this recipe 1, we want an ingredients list. So let's make ingredients level 2 heading. And we need half an onion. We need 1 inch ginger. We need 3 garlic cloves. Spices, you get the idea. And then we can say second heading again, and we can say recipe, cooking instructions. Let's go for steps. So it also has auto list completion. So 1, go put plate on medium heat, add oil, add spices. You can have subnoddings, cook for 1 minute. I don't really like the numbering system. There's obviously ways to get around it, but for me, I like the bullet points. Next step would be chop up ginger and garlic. Within this, finely minced. So you just obviously need to cater towards your ideal way of doing things. I'm just going to go to adding pictures. So adding pictures in Obsidian is quite easy. I have a couple of pictures of things that I cooked the other night. So you can just drag a bunch of them. So let's just take these three and just drag them across. And you can see that it creates a nice little picture of meals, and you can structure them between the recipe cooking instructions or create another heading, my experience with this recipe. You can fold it, you can fold it, you can fold it, and we have our recipe one. Let's just call this Asian ramen dish type meal, something like that. And whenever you update a note that is linked somewhere else, we'll ask you to update it in all the files. So do you want to update internal links that link to this file? This just means that where you reference this note, that name would also update and the link to it would remain active to this note. And I would say for majority of the cases, 99%, if you want it to update. I'm going to say always update, because sometimes you want to split the nodes and you don't want the links to remain active. So just say just once. And if we go back, we can see our cookie map of content, vegetarian meals, Asian ramen-ish type meal. Click on it and there we have our recipe links. So I'm hoping this was valuable to you to get started, just capturing notes, making links, and with a practical example like this, you can see how you can implement in your life, whether there's a project that you're doing or meeting notes that you want to take or just logging your exercise. This just shows you how linking can become a thing in your daily note-taking adventures. Thanks for your time.